You sure?
But
Go. Sorry.
I was about to do the intro.
Yeah, I've just realized when I stopped. Yeah.
Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do another raid video today, another collab with my buddy Scratch. You guys love having Scratch on the channel, so I thought let's bring him on again. Let's talk about something
That's
that,
good.
yeah, I think today's video will be really Scratch's expertise because he has way more experience than me, of course, in that, and maybe probably 95% of you, 99% of you also. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the end gaming raid, the real end gaming raid. That is a place where the majority of players will never experience, they will never reach that point, and it's because of many reasons, and not just spending. Spending is of course a reason for that. Spending affects the game a lot, but it's not the only reason. It might be the number one reason if I'm gonna put them in a list. Okay, spending affects the game a lot, but there's many things that make us progress through and that affect it. And I'm just gonna say, like, one example is the progression of just playing for a long time affects your account and the account power that you have. I'm talking about the gear that you slowly farm every day with the energy that we have. I'm talking about simple things such as the Doom Tower. The champions you get from the Doom Tower, that is just pure time investment. Every single day you do the secret rooms, you slowly get champions there, you get a little bit of rewards here and there from the Doom Tower. All of those add up to make your account stronger and to reach the point which we call the end game. And what do we call the end game? It's basically where you are able to farm the highest difficulty of every single part of the game at almost the fastest time in, let's say, doing the dungeons, doing the potion keys, the iron twins, the sand devil. That is the end game. And especially for arena, for the hydra, doing the highest damage in the hydra, doing competing in arena, that is all part of this problem. So yeah, Scratch,
100%.
what do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this?
So I remember the days when we used to call endgame the moment when you got your arbiter from the missions, right? That was back in the day, and that changed drastically. Okay, at that moment we didn't have platinum arena. If I'm correct, no, we didn't. They've added platinum arena after a while. Then they've made it a bit competitive with the trophies, etc. Then slowly they added more missions, they added more content to the game, and a lot of this content ramped up. Now, I cannot necessarily say that free to play you cannot reach endgame. You can. It's definitely going to take you a long ride to reach the endgame. Will you be able to compete as free to play in Raid or any other mobile game that has microtransactions? No. And the main idea is you gotta spend money. In Raid, you can purchase unlimited energy, stamina to farm gear. The more gear I have, the better I am versus you. Hell, they even introduced purchasing the actual gear packs at some point, right? So that was a massive issue for people that were still competing in arena or other areas like this, and even in just going to try for records, whatever, in faction wars or whatever. All this is part of the end game and is part of competing in a way or another. Sounds a bit ironically, I know, but that allowed people that were willing to spend money to skip all the time investment and just purchase the gear. Now, purchasing the gear directly, which makes these RPG sort of games the core mechanic of farming items, getting better items, right? I played Destiny before. Was my ultimate favorite game, and I used to go and grind that game daily like a madman to get my perfect roll IS Luna from the Crucibles. I just wanted that god mode gun, And when they sell an item like that, that game completely flops. It loses the value, it loses the whole aspect of grinding, and that's what Ray did. And in a way, because it's a mobile game, they just kind of like let it pass. Everyone let it pass, and people started buying gear like mad. And then basically they just advanced a lot, And you're playing the game for so many years, how you mentioned as well. At least us were playing the game for many years. It's very hard for people that coming to play the game even 1 year ago to relate to us. The main
Yeah.
reason is our accounts are so developed, are at such a different level, that only Krakens will be able to catch up with us that are willing to spend tons of money on shards, artifacts, and every single other pack that the game will offer you. So you're right saying that 95 or maybe 99% of the players will never get to reach the true end game because the game is designed in such a way where if you're not a mega kraken, you're not going to be able to go and do live arena in gold 3. You're not going to be able to go and do platinum arena and place high. Yes, I'm not saying it's impossible to place in arena. It's free to play. It's doable. We actually had people on the channel a few months ago that are free to play placing in platinum arena
Yeah.
with problems, right? It's not an easy job for them to do it, but it's doable. So you can enjoy the game at full potential, but you're gonna be limited in everything that you're doing. So that can put you in the spot where, am I really the super end game? When we are actually reaching the end game in 2023 in Raid Shadow Legends, because that's the main question now, and I can let you discuss a bit about this as well. Like, what would be your point of view when you are reaching the real end game in Raid in 2023 with all the new additions to the game?
In 2023, to reach the end game, it's no longer beating the ultra armor clan boss. Ultra armor clan boss
No, I
is
remember
the
those days too.
yeah, it's the gateway to the late game. Maybe it's your mid
Yeah.
game going into late game for
Mhm.
ultra armor clan boss, and that is the truth. It's so much solved content, meaning that there's so many teams that can help you get there without so much investment, that it no longer is that big mountain to climb through. Okay. So Ultra Armor Clan Boss basically becomes where you will be farming for shards, and those will give you champions, hopefully, to then beat the other content. And the biggest place where I would say the next part in terms of farming is maybe the Doom Tower is the next part in terms of maybe reaching late game, where you can farm the gear there for free, not only for free, but also probably get something that is better than a Savage set. It is very difficult to farm the Doom Tower, but it's still a part where you slowly get some gear that is better, like the lethal sets. You maybe get the resistance set, you can get the guardian sets, and those will help you get into the Hydra. And Hydra, you can get some gear, and I think that's where the end game is, although people don't like the Hydra because what you get in there is not even comparable in terms
To the
of
clan boss, yeah.
to the clan boss. Like, you don't get shards. Well, now you do. Through the Hydra clash, you get one primal per month. But you don't get the gear that is usable everywhere. You get stone skin and protection, which can be used everywhere, but not as often as the cruel sets and the immortal sets, which are fantastic gears that we had everywhere. But that is the reality of the game. That is, and of course, then the end game in terms of dungeons becomes farming hard mode 10 for all of the old dungeons we had, and of course farming Sand Devil and Phantom for getting that little bit of an upgrade, which is where the real end game community tries to push. But it's very bad in terms of energy investment return, to what you get to return it. Yeah,
especially the Shogun. Like, I'm always recommending to my viewers, don't do the Shogun unless you literally have nothing else left to do and you think that will be your only way on how you can advance your account. The return for ascending accessories is so bad, like the stats that you're getting on it, that it's just not worth it for you to invest 800 to 1,000 energy to max one accessory, unless you are a person that has a crazy account, a well-developed account. You're spending money, you have tons of energy. Even I personally, I'm not free to play. Okay, I have a pretty stacked account. I don't ascend every piece of gear. I ascended my arena champions for the accessories, and that's it. Because the value is not worth it, and even for those, is not insane. But the thing is, with arena, every little helps, or at least they got you in that rat race, thinking that every little helps. And how you mentioned clan boss, it used to be the end game. Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, when they released it, I remember, my god, was so hard compared to anything else. Faction Wars used to be the end game after. And now it's kind of like soft punch, you know. And
It's whatever. Yeah.
yeah, Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss is, in my opinion, mid game. So once
Yeah.
once you reach that, you're mid game. You're definitely not now nowhere close to end game, because how you mentioned, there are like hundreds of teams almost that can do Ultra Nightmare now, and that's a very good thing. That shows that Raid has diversity, and it does offer a pretty good thing for free to play players. You know, that are willing to invest the time into the game. That's one thing that I really like about Raid. I played many other gacha games out there and just mobile games in general, where when you hit the wall, the cap where you cannot complete the content anymore, it doesn't matter if I log in 1 week, 2 weeks, I cannot
Mm.
pass from there if I don't open my wallet. You know, it's basically
If you
like
don't
that.
have maybe
And
the heroes needed.
yeah, and you're gonna uninstall it. That's it. But Raid does have alternatives with different heroes. Now, recently, I would say in the last 1 year, they starting from Hydra, maybe the Bommel and other content like that was really specific on champions. So they started introducing that as well, where if you don't have these 1, 2, 3 champions, is not easy. Then the Bommel became piece of cake with rare champions, farmable champions, because
Yeah.
people didn't thought
With
about
Gimli Shack
strategies. So
especially.
it's not like they made it impossible, just people didn't thought about strategies. After it became much easier, you know? And Fire Knight 10, they needed to bring a champion like Newt in order to make it more accessible. And it's still very
It's
focused
still
on
difficult.
specific champions, you know,
It's
like
still
you
very
don't have
difficult.
Newt. Yeah, it's very difficult. So they started doing this as well in a way or another, but this is for the very, very end game content. So you can't necessarily say that is the biggest issue that the game will have or anything like that. And moving over to the next topic quick that I want to discuss, and you mentioned the rewards in Hydra. People don't like them. I don't like them either. But
Yeah.
one thing that people need to understand is that when you're empowering a champion, you're getting extra stats, right? And you're getting pretty disgusting stats on them in terms of attack, 40% attack, right? Which would be the equivalent of what, 600 attack on a nuker, roughly, if they have 1.5k attack, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting around 600 attack on your nuker from it. Then if you're getting a 6-star blessing from the Hydra stones, if you're getting lucky enough, the stats that you're getting from that is actually in a way better than the empowerment,
Way
because
better.
you're not in the need of getting 4 extra champions to empower your main one, you know, which is, my God, is insanity to be able to get so many champions. And all around, you could argue that the rewards are not bad, but they're still bad because they're giving you such a limited amount and only the small stones. But Awakening had such a massive impact on the game that I feel like a lot of people don't really comprehend on how much it actually changed the game and how much it empowered the whales, and how what a big gap it created in between the players. And it's not competing, it's just the gap in, okay, the dungeons, they started requiring blessings. The higher the blessing, the less damage you get, the more damage you deal, etc. And these, for example, I have a 3-star Krutraxa, right? On my Fire Knight hard mode 10.
Yeah.
I have my Martyr on a shield, right? And the shield value is at around 70k HP, 75, maybe even more. Maybe it's up to 80k HP in total with the stats for the Fire Knight from the Great Hall.
Yeah.
Then my Krutraxa is 3-star awakened. She has her regular stats at 55k HP and 2.7k defense. And she's only 3-star awakened. The boss, once in 200 runs, he one-shots her.
Yeah.
With all those
Yeah.
stats. Then I have my body with 4-star awakening. She never dies with weaker stats than mine.
Yeah.
So it just shows that
sure
it makes such a difference on the awakening level on these new dungeons. The Shogun is such a pain without blessings, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, because the number of those that buff he has goes up if you don't have the awakenings, and you do a weak hit, it's also there. It totally sucks. That boss totally sucks for what you get, and it's a totally difficult dungeon. Awakenings really changed the game, and players will never reach this part of the game, and it's sad because it also limits us as creators to be able to continue doing content on what we can do at the moment, which is, you know, the later part of the game, the end game part of the game. So there's so many videos out there on the old dungeons and that, and if we post on that, maybe some of our audience would get bored. it's confusing. It makes our job as creators even harder because all right, what should I be posting? Should I be posting about these new things that Plarium has just added, which only affects a limited amount of players, or should I just go back and try to do a Spider 20 guide, which has been done so many times now, but maybe I can help new players. It's something that I think Raid should address. Maybe introduce ways to fast pace the progression for players now that they join in Raid. So let's say
there's just too many layers, layer over layer over layer. Like I think for a person, like let me just put my account where it is, right? I probably have roughly, I don't know, maybe I have around 20 plus 4 champions. I think I have around that. I have some plus 3. I only have 2 champions legendaries at 6-star awakening, okay? Because they're so limited and I'm
it's
not
so
spending
difficult.
crazy on them. And I'm very unlucky with whatever I spent on them anyway. But if somebody would come to the game to start playing the game today and they would want to reach the level where I am, let's just say by spending $20 to $50 a month, I would assume they would need a minimum of at least 10 years to play the game. At a minimum of 10 years. And they might not get where I am.
Even if they spend exactly the same amount as you spend. So they log in, they said, okay, I'm going to spend X amount, which is exactly what Scratch said. Just because you were playing so long and even the free energy you were getting, you were farming lots of more gear. You were getting all those fusion champions. You were also getting the biggest thing is, I would say, the glyphs. Glyphs is such a huge part that no amount of money at the moment can buy glyphs. They've only done glyphs like 1 or 2 times in packs, but they've never done it since. And all of these glyphs, this is only farmable with time, not money. There's no way to buy it. And I've been on accounts helping out people who have crazy accounts, but almost 0 glyphs because they just don't have that time investment that I have on my account or somebody else would have of just playing and doing the last difficulty and getting those 6-star speed glyphs, for example, or even 4 or 5 stars. Those can still help in getting your speeds to that maybe 300 speed requirement for building a Fire Knight hard 10 team. So it's all of these things that maybe Raid can address and help the newer players feel like they have a some kind of boost compared to us. Let's say they have 2x drops on glyphs. Let's say they have 2x drops on even gear. Let's say you farm, if you can farm Dragon up to 20, the drops are double. Like I wouldn't farm Dragon 20 even if they had that.
No, like none of the end game will do. This is just for new players, and this is actually a very, very good idea on how they could boost the newcomers to. They still won't catch up, but it will give them a massive advantage to get closer to it. And the glyphs, how you mentioned, they're massive. They're extremely important. A lot of people don't really appreciate them that much. And it's just, imagine farming the Doom Tower for 2 years or farming it for 1 month, right? You've done 1 rotation of the Dark Fae. I've done it for 2 years as an example.
2 years,
I have better gear already, and you're not going to come anywhere closer to it than the Hydra, which is limited. I'm talking about the limited sets, including Perception, which is from Faction Wars, very limited too. I do think that them making some sort of battle passes for the players would be amazing. Like, think about the revival pack that they had for trying to basically put their claws back into people's wallets and get them back to play the game and spend money by giving them some insane deals with that, catch-up deals. Yeah, I understand. It's a very good business practice. Why not make something for new players that will allow them to boost their progression quick for the first 3, 4, 5 months? Give free version to it that will increase their drop rates. And how you mentioned, limited all the way up to stage 20. I'm not going to farm stage 20 because it gives me double the gear. No way. I want to get mythical gear. I don't want to get epic and legendary gear from there, But it will be such a massive thing for newcomers to the game. Give double the shards. Give double everything from the clan boss. I know they will never do that because it costs them
of course, because that's
money,
a lot of money.
Give double gear. Give double brews. Give double of these things that you added. Like they have so many currencies and so many layers over layers that they're at a point where they need to be like, well, we got to cut on some of the old ones because we just added 200 new freaking things that people need to farm and spend money on. It's not healthy,
yeah, it becomes so confusing for a new player, and especially when they see, oh, I have to have this on my account to be able to do that. It feels so far away that they think, oh, might as well quit. There is this brand new game that just got launched today. I'll go play that where I won't have this problem. I won't face Scratch, or I won't have to be like Scratch. Maybe that's a better comparison, because there's no real competition between us, but I won't need to have Scratch's account to be able to do that. I'll slowly work on and play it, and the game will develop as I play it. And they'll rather go and do maybe Watches of Realms or Dragonair or whatever other new game pops up. But
yeah, because go on, sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
I was gonna say, because you just mentioned Dragonair, like in the beta, right? Dragonair is gonna be a seasonal game, and at the beginning, I was like, nah, that's gonna suck, man. It's bad, you know. Basically, you're gonna keep all the champions that you're summoning. You're gonna keep all your scrolls, books that are related to building champions. But everything else that is farmable through energy is gonna reset every 3 months. So basically, everybody will start new in the game. Me, you, everybody. Doesn't matter for how long you've been playing. Of course, you keep the champions and the rest. That still gives you an advantage when you start. Then they have leaderboards for the people that want to spend and compete. Who's going to be first on the leaderboard to beat this and that, which is a pretty cool idea. I feel like that's similar with Diablo sort of things, right?
Yeah.
And I was pretty negative towards that idea, but now I'm embracing it, because how we mentioned everything in this video, we're never going to be in that situation, because you guys start the game playing tomorrow. I started playing it 5 seasons ago, but the season starts tomorrow. We're going to start at the same level. And because I have the same gear as you guys might have, yes, I do have extra champions, etc., but I can always choose to use the rare champions. And the good thing is that we're going to get new bosses in there every season. We're going to get new artifacts and different things to make it interesting, not just basically rinse and repeat the same thing 20 times in 20 seasons. Every season will bring new things instead, you know? So I'm embracing the idea. I think it's going to be a very good idea, especially from the point of view of a content creator that wants to relate with his community, you know?
Yeah, because like as a content creator, like in Dragonair, you just mentioned, we're closing off, guys. Don't worry. We're not going to go into Dragonair now. It's just that you're going to start day one and you're going to experience the same problem as your day one viewer or day two viewer, because they have like new servers every 2 days or something. So that is where the players will like, okay, Scratch is where I am. He's facing the same problem. How is he going to solve that problem? I'll watch him. And that becomes relevant immediately. And your video will do great, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to keep on producing content. But I think that's it for today, for this video, man. I just wanted to give a thought out there, and let the audience also share their opinions in the comments, because this has become something that is circling my mind all over about Raid, and how Raid can improve in terms of getting the newer players to reach the point where we are a little bit quicker, and become relevant for the content we want to be making, not just for us, but also for their own sake, so that they can so they don't have to see this as like the hugest challenge they'll ever face, and feel like the answer is quitting instead of just staying and playing Raid. Yeah. So thank you, man, for coming on. Thank you all for watching. Go over to Scratch's channel. We're gonna have another collab over there. Yeah, thank you, Scratch. We'll see you soon. We're gonna do another collab for sure next week. See you guys.